Hello,
Hello, there we go. Let me make sure. Getting microphone. Okay, we're all good.
and we are recording.
Okay. Oh, good, good, good. That's right.
You know what? That last session, which I thought was a big deal, I lost it when I went to, how it converts, and then I went to save it to the file. My hard drive was too full to take it. And I didn't know, it said retry or cancel. And I thought, oh, well, okay, I'll hit cancel so I can pick a different file. And I lost the whole thing. I'm like looking through Zoom and my all these documents. It was just gone. I was so disappointed. So I had to clear out my hard drives and move stuff around. So
That I'm going to have to do that with mine as well.
it's like, oh my God, I got
Oh, sure. Well,
Melissa sent me this drive that's got like 10 terabytes on it. I was blown away. She had
yeah.
gotten it in
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah,
Texas. And so I was able to just shove everything on there and kind of wheedle everything down.
that's what I have to do as well.
I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? And I thought that was like a really important one too, but oh well, it is what it is.
Oh,
I
look,
put all
you.
those notes in my PowerPoint, so I think it's okay.
Okay. Well, I've been thinking about you and praying about you. What a
Oh my God, yeah, that memory with the chimeras. I called them dogmen because that's what they looked like. I was blown away.
But aren't you? You nailed it, right? When something.
I just that it's funny because that next morning I just kept thinking it's just too fantastical. And another part of me was going, well, no, you've heard Nathan Reynolds talk about these creatures. I kind of put it on a shelf. I believe him. I didn't think he was lying, but just a part of me was like, I don't know. So as I'm cleaning house, well, I was driving to the store thinking about it and coming home cleaning house and just having this whole conversation with myself and my parts going, if I
I
disbelieve
was
this,
drifting. Sorry about
no,
that.
that's okay. So, I mean, I think you read it all. I thought, well, if I disbelieve that, I can't believe anything else because it's all come in the same way. So how could I not,
And
believe
that was
it?
such an important point, right? It's
Yeah, it was
and
crazy.
it makes sense then why this would be one of
It's
the
hard to believe. You
right.
don't,
So that
it's not,
memory is
I
going to
just didn't
wait,
want to believe it. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and that occurred to me too, that it came after the firewalls came down.
That's right.
And I was like, oh, wow, okay. And it's funny because as I was cleaning, it's like I would clean the bathrooms and have all these thoughts and think, well, let me sit down and record those thoughts. And then I'd get up and, you know, dust the house. And then I'd have to sit down and record those thoughts. And then, so it's just this whole thing back and forth all day. And finally, by the time I was done cleaning house, I was pretty resolved. Okay, this is real. It's, believable. It's, whatever. And there's another interesting thing. When I was cleaning how I was dusting my nightstand right where I sleep. And the duster snagged. I have this little brass vase with feathers I've collected over the years, just from outside, or special, but it snagged one of the feathers and pulled it off. And it was the one that I got when I was with Star in that crystal shop in Dallas. She had gotten it from some shaman. It was an actual eagle feather, and they're like registered because you're not supposed to have eagle feathers. But she gave it to me as a gift, and then later on, I got a bear claw. I think in the same manner. And so I stuck the feather in the bear claw, and that was the first feather I collected. And then over the years, I collected more. So I'm dusting, and it pulled that one out, and it lied there. And I thought, oh my God, that's one of those things that a bad person gives you so that you've got bad juju in your house. You know what I mean? It's one of those spiritually tainted things. And it had never crossed my mind all this time. Like I was telling Scott, well, you got to get rid of the bad stuff. Now all of a sudden I'm staring at it.
Oh gosh.
And I'm thinking, okay, well, I got to get rid of that. And I was thinking, well, should I just throw it in the trash? And something inside said, no, burn it. And I thought, well, the bear claw is not going to burn. So I put it off to the side and I finished cleaning house. When I went back to look for it, it was just gone. I was like, oh my God, where did this thing go? Where did this thing go? And so I finish up with cleaning and having this realization about this whole dogman thing. And it was like, I don't know. Oh, that's right. The next day I went out to beat on Ted, or maybe it was the same day. I can't remember. But all of a sudden, there it is in the garage on the floor by the trash can. And I went, there you are.
What, the
And I
feather?
saw the feather with the bear claw on it. And I was like, oh my God. It's like God wanted me to find, like wanted me to pull it out and notice it, but then somehow it disappeared. And then it reappears in a completely different room. I don't know how that even happened. So finally I was like, okay, pick it up. I took it outside, I burned the feather, and then I just threw the bear claw in the trash. And then the next day that went out. It's sitting at the curb right now, gonna get picked up tomorrow. But I was like, it was the weirdest experience. It just disappeared. It's like the evil forces says, no, don't get rid of me. And
Yeah.
then God's like, well, yeah, she is. I'm gonna put it over here where she can't miss it. And it was right next to the big rubber sword that I used to beat on Ted, because I didn't even notice it when I went in there, and I should have. But it wasn't until I got done beating on Ted and I went to get the sword and I went, "Oh, there it is." And it's not like it was in a massive clutter to get, lost, or it was just lying there on the cement, plain as day. And I was like, wow. And it couldn't have been there the night before. Yeah, was it overnight or half the day or something? But there was just no explanation. It's like it disappeared and reappeared. And I thought, well, maybe a part did that. I don't know, but it just seemed very interesting. I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
wow. So,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. So anyway, I guess I'll start reading this. So the scene opens up with long grass, almost like wheat growing against the side of a stump or a fence post or something. I still don't even know where that grass is. And then the next scene is that of a man that didn't look quite human. And I'm like, what the hell is that? There was some sort of wire from the back of his head to his shoulder area. And so then my mind starts working,
Okay, so I missed, that's right. Now that I'm rereading or we're rereading, so
I'm
you
thinking,
saw the wire.
is that a Borg? What is that? It was just, it wasn't right. It looked transhuman, just that one little piece. And I'm still wondering if it was that the dog collar, but instead of a chain, it was a wire, and I had only seen the dog collar, or was it an actual transhuman thing? I don't know. Um, the next scene is of him raping someone, but I'm looking at them from behind. He is bald. And honestly, now that I'm reading this, I'm remembering that this was an outside scene. And I was not outside with these creatures. So this might be a completely different part or something else. He is bald. The next scene after that is me knowing that I'm being raped by him. So it must be the same thing. Maybe there was one that was outside. I don't know. And then wondering where I'm at. And then I started thinking about the military. I believe this occurred in the underground area in El Paso. I kept thinking, how could I be raped after I just had an abortion? Then that,
Um,
and it suddenly dawned on me, no, it was before the abortion. And I'm like, okay, well, I knew I'd been down there 3 or 4 times, but I only had the one recall. Did the rape happen in the same room where the abortion was? I later realized, no, it was a different room, just similar. I was lying on the table with my hands and chest strapped down. This creature came in and jumped up on the table in a very odd, not human way, the way a dog would jump up on a table. like an animal would, all fours at once. Then he raped me with his penis and jumped off the table and ran out. It was shortly after that the doctor or handler or whatever he was came in and performed the abortion.
And again, I think you've referenced, Anna, that's why how are kids and others supposed to not believe in extraterrestrials and stuff when we've got this kind of
I
mad
know.
scientific freakish
I
stuff going
know.
on?
I know. I mean, because I don't think that there is an alien ET phenomena. I think it's
No,
been programmed into the consciousness
that's
of
right.
the population so that they can pull off some big scam down the road.
Well, and they've just now I saw a video on anti-gravity aircraft that the US has, and I've seen them, where the three of them together lift off and people think it's a UFO. So
Well,
that
and
explains that. But
Alan
this,
had me go down a goose. Oh, he didn't ask me, but he talked about something, and I looked into it, and that led me down another little rabbit hole. But they have machines that can cause an aircraft to become invisible, and it's done through mirrors on the outside of a device, and somehow the mirror reflects its surrounding uh, environment, especially if it's in the sky, and it causes you to think there's nothing there. So, yeah, I don't think the whole ET thing is real at
but
all.
the this gain of function, that's really what this has all
Yeah.
been, this Fauci crap that, and so no wonder they know that nobody was going to believe that this is going on, so nobody's going to believe survivors of all this.
Yeah. Well, and there was something else too. I remember Alan talked once, twice about it, not at great length, maybe 2 or 3 minutes, but he was talking about chimeras and things like that. And he says, way back in the day, he said, if you look at the landscape and geography of where the Black Sea is, he said that was not a sea originally. He said he had read some history book somewhere, like Tacitus, like a Roman historian or something like that, talking about how they had created so many abominations and they couldn't get them under control, that they
Wow.
decided to flood that area to kill it all. And they somehow created the ocean to come onto the land and flood that area, and it became the Black Sea. He said, but it was not original there. That's a man-made sea for that reason. And I thought, if that's going on 3,000 years ago, obviously the technology they're going to keep on tinkering. Nathan Reynolds talks about how they keep them all underground and how they are conditioned and trained to not want to come up to the regular world because they know they'll be hunted and killed. So they're conditioned to stay down there. I was like, oh my God. Anyway, so I'm like having this whole crash of knowledge kind of crash in on me that day. It was like, anyway, I said that
Unbelievable.
okay. So, oh yeah, and he was pushing my thumbs backward, telling me something like whatever I had just seen was a dream or my imagination, and did I understand? I was drugged, but I said yes, I understood. Then he performed the abortion. And you haven't read this yet, but the next day I remembered the abortion more in detail. That was horrible. Just thinking about it gives me shudders. The creature was hairless and his skin was somewhat waxy. He seemed as though he moved like a dog, although he stood upright. It did not speak or make noise. It moved in a hurried fashion like an animal. Perhaps it was some sort of genetically manipulated creature of this lab. The doctor treated it like a pet. Excuse me. It had a collar and leash on. Now, see, because when I see it in the room, I don't see the transhuman wire thing. So I don't know if that's a separate memory where we're outside and I'm seeing this transhuman, or if it was just the dog collar in such a manner it made me think it was a wire. Because Dixie has a leash you know, for we travel and I need to put her on a leash, hers, it's like a wire. I'm wondering if it's not something like that. He brought
Oh,
okay, when it jumped on the table, it sniffed by my mouth and then down to my vagina. It lifted my legs up so my knees were by my chest, and then it raped me anally, although it's just whatever hole it came across. First, it didn't seem to know what it was doing, and it did pant. So then I put on here, second incident. A man with a beard and a military outfit handled the dog, and the doctor walked in beside them. So now I'm having this image of like 4 or 5 of them in the room sniffing around different things, the equipment and things like that. And this is when I realized this is a different room. I'm just shuddering at the idea of this, and my thumbs are tingling. It's almost like the scene from out of a movie. They're just not normal humans, if that's what they are at all.
so the thumb tingling then is connected to this whole thing.
Yeah, I think that was part of the doctor's way of instilling
Yeah,
uh you know, the whatever program he was.
because your thumbs started hurting when?
Well, they've been on and off for years and years and years. I remember being at Angie's house a couple of years ago saying, man, my thumbs were just, you know, it was just hurting. She goes, ah, it's arthritis.
Do you remember them hurting prior to the military?
Not really, no. I think as I've gotten older and done a lot more gardening and painting and
But
housework.
if they did stuff to your thumbs in the military, then obviously prior to that, your thumbs wouldn't have hurt.
Yeah, I don't
'Cause
think
you
so.
could probably, if you bend the thumb back at a certain angle,
You can completely disable someone. I know that's how Chris was talking about it the other day, how he was watching uh Steven Seagal, who's retired and living in
Russia.
no, he's in the United Arab Emirates. That's where
Oh,
he,
really?
the UAE, yeah. And he had like a guy that he has on staff that does nothing. Steven Seagal just beats him up all day. That's what this guy's job is, to be beaten up by Steven Seagal. It's his sparring partner. But this
Okay.
is telling me what he was learning. He goes, yeah, and he could just kill somebody with his fingers, you know? And so he's teaching, you know, this guy was a martial or what is that thing called where they martial artists go and fight now? They mixed martial arts.
Oh,
They
yeah.
have fights. Well, this guy wanted to learn higher level stuff, and so he went to interview Steven Seagal. And this is what Chris is watching. But Steven Seagal is talking about just simple arm and hand and wrist movements can completely disable someone. And so now that you bring that up, I'm thinking that's probably what it was. Because, yeah, I mean, I'd be laying on the table, my, you know, my wrists are strapped here and I got a strap here, and he would just tweak my thumbs.
Yeah.
So I kept thinking, surely this has to be my imagination because of what they look like and how they move. I can sense each one coming up to my face and sniffing me. I keep closing my eyes because I don't want to look at them. I can also see them climbing the walls somehow.
And Diana, I'm sorry for interrupting. It makes sense to me as we've been talking about the methods and the mindset of the perps and how they were keeping files on all these kids, that the file then tracks the kid, or the right. And so then they get you into the military, they've got your last name, and so they're going to find out systematically how much programming still is in play. Can they access the alters? So the big test would be leading up to then
Oh,
Himmler's
right.
castle. So once they've got that down,
And then I go to El Paso.
right? They specifically, because they've got this crap going on
They
under the
take it to
ground
the
in
next
El
level.
Paso, and they then want to take it to the next level, in so many ways. So they had you flown out to El Paso,
Where my dad was stationed.
right? And so they had this in store for you. Yeah, and then a
I didn't
couple of,
even think about it like that. Yeah.
I mean, systematically, they're continuing to find out, is your programming and the work that your dad and this and Jack and
Will
the
it handle this type of
there
thing?
you go, because
Yeah.
oh gosh,
I
okay.
know. I know. That's creeping me out right now.
Well, I mean, once you
Um,
see the playbook, right, it's brilliantly evil. I mean,
it
Satan and
is. It's brilliant. All of it's brilliant.
right,
You got to give him credit for that. But
it's so satanic.
yeah, yeah. It's like, what is not as Nathan Reynolds said, it's continually, continually and something else evil. It's like this just, yeah. I can also see them climbing the walls somehow. Something I thought they had like suction cup fingers, but I realized later, no, it was the fingers had like the pads of a dog's dog pad, and they were touching the walls, like feeling the walls, like they had never been in a building or something. I said, perhaps it's on top of and around the equipment. Because at first my mind went to those creepy horror movies, which I don't watch, but you'll see a commercial from time to time where a demon's crawling up the wall and the ceiling. I thought, oh
Yeah,
my God, is that what's happening? But it wasn't. They were just like feeling the wall, but their, fingers were out. I have to show you this picture I selected for this. This just blew my mind when I found it. I was like, are you kidding me? I don't know if this is photoshopped or what, but
bless your heart, Diana.
it's
If you
creepy.
didn't have parts, right, you'd be insane.
Oh my God, yes. Which is the whole design.
Yeah, no,
Oh, look
seriously.
at this. This is her new picture. But look at this creature. Like, is this real? There's, is it
What the heck?
photoshopped? I mean, is that the most crazy? I typed in dog man. Oh, geez, Louise. And
Don't
this
worry.
came up.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. There's people obviously in the background. You see shoes.
Yeah. See, now I'm on the wrong page altogether. It's like, I mean, it's mind-blowing that this picture even exists.
See, it's like you said, right? That the picture of this
Of the
skin hat,
lamprey thing, yeah.
right? Or
It's
the
like,
lamprey thing, but the skin hats and stuff. So it's out there. We pass right by it because
oh
I
my
saw
God.
one of a picture of it looked like part child, part rabbit with long floppy ears.
Really? Oh my God. So they must
As
have
a matter of fact, I've got that.
just thousands of these things around the world.
Do you want me to look for that one
So
again and send it
here,
to you?
the rabbit, no, this is enough.
See, this is what's going on.
Here, here, let me do this
This
because
is what's
there's
going
more
on.
than one. I was just
This
here.
is that gain of function crap.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Oh, see, now I'm getting a whole different search.
Okay, so werewolf. Now we see what werewolves are.
Yeah, and look at this.
See,
Oh, it's just disturbing. I have to get off there. It's just disturbing, dog. Oh, I think I
but
put
see,
dog
we
and
no
human.
one look at that. They're just getting a kick out of putting this stuff out there because they know people are going to stare at it and not believe it. I wouldn't have believed it.
Yeah, here, see? Look, there's several with babies. I mean, it's so disturbing. Whereas there was other ones. Oh, and this. Growing organs in pigs. I mean, yeah, it's just disturbing. Just disturbing. This one didn't upset me quite so much. I think that, but yeah, that does look like rabbit ears, frankly. Ugh. But I don't think that's photoshopped. I don't think I think it's real.
again, who would come up with something like that?
It's
Like
well,
if
but
some,
the creatures that I saw, their snout, this area was more pushed back into the face. It was just slightly protruded, maybe 1/4 or 1/3 of the depth of this. And they didn't have ears like that. But the skin, it's all very similar. It's I don't like looking at it. That's why as soon as I discovered her and I embraced her and I said, okay, well, we've got to give you existence and a new life because she thought she was the dog man, that creature. And I said, no, you are not. You were a human being raped by that creature. You're human. She thought she was that thing. And so that's why I got her a new picture and a new name right away. And she wanted to pick the name. She thought she was a man too. I said, no, you were a woman being raped. She said she wanted her name to be Gerard. Gerard. And I said, no, that's a dog sound. I said, how about Geraldine? And she said, oh, that's nice. And we found a picture, and she chose it because of the lovely, soft human skin. You know? But she was really, she thought she was the dog man.
is that right?
Yeah,
Because
she
doesn't that
took
make
on
sense?
that.
That I mean, what is she going to do with this degree of trauma? You have to
Yeah,
inject it.
and that night in the parts puddle, I she wouldn't come to the water, but she was perfectly happy. I went and took a bath. I think that's in here. I took a bath, and that's where I was telling. I said, "No, you're not the dog man. You're not, whatever." And she was, yeah, after she took a bath and changed clothes and had the new picture, she slept for like a day and a half. And when she woke up, she was fine. She was still kind of comatose. And the next night, I held her again a lot. She's not very communicative at all.
Has she done venting yet?
Yes, a lot.
Okay,
Yes.
that's going to be the key, right, to her.
And and then by the next night, she was up and walking around in her cabin, with
Yeah.
Janet and
Okay, that's good.
Donna Dunker, who used to baptize in blouse. Well, Dunker wants to be a baptizer for God.
Good,
So
good.
she helps with the baptisms, and Janet always helps with the new arrivals. So the two of them were with her all the time. And but last night she finally allowed me to just her back to my chest, and we fell asleep and had a great night's sleep. And I got goosebumps now talking about it. So yeah,
Yeah,
she's a long time to come out of whatever days she was in. She wasn't like catatonic or catatonic or comatose or anything. She was just like in an unreal state,
yeah. Yeah,
like in
how
a
could she
state
not
of
be?
like in a state of suspension. And it took all compared to all the other parts, she really was frozen,
Yeah,
really frozen. And yeah. And oh, we destroyed her prison. We filled it with acid. And,
good.
and it turned to a black hole and went
Now,
down to
when you say, does she remember being kept in some sort of prison?
no, it was when I would perform guard duty at say midnight or 2 in the morning. You have a 2-hour shift and everybody trades off. But someone would always come and relieve me, and they would take me down into the basement, which Nathan explained. He said, you might think you're in a basement, but they've designed the hallways and the stairs in such a manner you're actually going deep underground. And I was like, really? And so I think that's what occurred because I had later when I was in the tub, I realized those stairs were odd, and it was a very long staircase. It was just, plain cement steps with the iron rail that went down 2 or 3 or 4 floors. And something else, Chris and I watched on YouTube. It was Saturday afternoon. We were just watching nonsense. And he's scrolling through, and there's this one about what is underneath Los Angeles. I said, pop that on. And so we watched it, and they went each level every 6 to 12 inches deeper and deeper and deeper. You get down to 8 to 12 to 16 feet. There was a mansion down there, a whole mansion.
Could you send me that link if you can find that? Because I'm going to address the
Yeah.
issue of that when I finally get back talking with Emma. Because of course the naysayers for the false memory syndrome, they're still out there. Actually, these perps that have been targeting me, I heard.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to listen to one of my former partner, so I'm addressing that. But this Matthew Osborne slips in, and same thing with Sierra Weir. There's so much crap they're throwing in that all of a sudden I heard their emphasis. I believe the SRA and false memories, and it's like
No,
so
I mean, this
in the
man,
tunnels. So she emphasized tunnels. So if you could send me that, because all I
sure.
need is one or
Yeah.
two,
Yeah. I mean,
saying
because they
okay,
go, the first, 2 to 4 feet are all utilities. It's
yeah,
underneath that is where this other stuff is. And
yeah.
they
If you could
show
send
you
that, would be
pictures.
beautiful, Diana.
Yeah, and this underground, it was a mansion. They're showing you the rooms, and it's all lit up and bright and beautiful. And I was like, I don't know how anyone could live without windows. And Chris is like, oh, it's lit up beautifully. So it's fully electrified.
Yeah.
And and this mansion had a courtyard to nowhere with a
Oh,
fountain in it.
oh, yeah. So if you can
Like
find
an
that,
8 foot fountain. I'm like, are you kidding me? This mansion must have been, they only showed 1 floor of it, but
and
it
how long has it been there? That kind of thing. You want to know?
years and decades, decades. And it's a mansion. It's like, wow. So, okay, I guess we get back
Okay.
here. I said, I keep thinking surely this has to be my imagination because of what they look like and how they move. I can sense each one upcoming, sniffing me, close my eyes, see them climbing the walls somehow. Perhaps it's on top or on. They don't have any clothing on. Some genetically altered or modified creature, like a litter of them, except they're like the size of a teenage person, about the same size as me. I was 22 at the time and I'm 5'5". It's almost like they have suction cups on their fingertips. I don't want to believe this. The suction cups was an analytical overlay from commercials of horror movies. I
Oh,
realized it was the pads of dogs' feet on fingertips. I realized that later. I do not want to believe this. I can certainly understand how people would think they had alien encounters, but I
yeah.
understand from Nathan Reynolds there are genetically modified creatures in deep underground military bases. I keep closing my eyes, turning my face away from the ones that get in my face. Then it moves around to the other side and sniffs again, and I turn the other way. My neck was, I'm just trying to stay as far away as possible. And I'm flinging my neck around. So my shoulders were getting, and so as I'm beating on Ted, I'm having shoulder issues and neck issues. Then it moves around to the other side. I hold my breath because I don't want to breathe in the breath coming off that thing. I don't think it was because it was smelly. I just think I thought that it was contaminated somehow. Like it was like God saying, don't breathe it in. Don't breathe it in. You know what I mean? I don't know why. It's just too much to even think about. Each one having their turn at me, not knowing what they're doing with their penis and just entering whatever they can, my vagina, my anus. It wasn't very large. It didn't hurt. Now, I don't know if it didn't hurt because I was drugged or if it just didn't hurt. The idea of it is revolting. The doctor is telling me anything that I saw was just a hallucination from the drugs he had given me. So then Sabina popped up her head, I think because it was the creature humans. So in that Scorpion Club, oh, because you and I talked about it and I
Yeah,
remember,
I remember reading. Yeah,
but I
yeah.
didn't record it, so I thought, well, I better record it.
Because
They did.
your legs started to get all
Mhm.
itchy or
Yeah, they
something.
had me stand in some sort of a trash can and pour, I can't even think how many scorpions in. I think it was just like a smallish trash can because I was only 4. So it only had to be a couple feet high. And they did crawl up my legs. I was screaming and crying for daddy to make them stop. They made me promise to never talk about anything ever. Once I promised, they pulled me out of the trash can. I was kicking my legs to get them to go off of me. And I remember it was that um, Balistrieri mobster in my face. I remembered it the other day, but I didn't record it. He was going like that, you know. Let's say pointing. Once I promised, they pulled me out of the trash can. I was kicking my legs to get them, just like, getting them off of me. Once I was standing on the floor, I kept wiping at my legs to make sure they were all gone because I kept thinking they were by my vagina, between my legs. Big fat mafia man put his face in my face and said, "You understand now. You understand now, don't you?" kind of thing. I said, "Yes, yes, yes, I'll never tell." Then they took me to the room with the big fat man who poured more of them on the bed. So then that was sitting in the tub, I think we're doing that. So Dogma, right now I keep thinking that I must be insane to think that a pack of a chimera raped me. I keep getting the impression that this pack of chimeras did not have any females. And I put this in italics because I think I was hearing someone saying this, like the doctor. And did not have any females, and they needed to know how to mate. This doctor decided to use me for them to practice. He was trying to get slash create females, but just couldn't. Now this is like 1984. And because I was pregnant, there would be no repercussions. Because after that, he would give me abortion for the baby that was created at Himmler's castle. And he said, no harm, no foul, everybody wins. Fucking people. These creatures would hold the back of my thighs up to my chest and just thrust. I think I understand by the inside of my knee. Now it's not the outside corner, it's the inside underside. Someone's jamming your joint together. Because I still can't do this one stretch, and it's because of that action. I also don't understand why they just didn't knock me out entirely, except to have a trauma to embed silence again, or insanity, or the alien abduction stuff.
Yeah.
Either way, I seem not credible. It's just too fantastical. The very phrase I thought of last week. So I think
Yep. Yep.
I
No,
think
that's
she
right.
was starting to tell me last week. And it was so it very, very slowly popped up compared to all the rest. This has been a
Well, isn't it interesting,
real.
Diana? Isn't it interesting we're working together because I'm the right therapist to because
Oh my
I didn't.
God, if it wasn't you, any of these stories, because what do I
Yeah.
have 174 parts now?
Yeah.
Any psychiatrist would think I'm just making shit up after a
Absolutely.
while.
And I
You
really
know,
think that's part of what
why they do it.
it was probably a part of the multiplicity of things, but I'm over the target in what I'm producing for public consumption, so to speak. And
Hmm.
these pedophiles, it's really what the guy that Matthew Osborne, now I've linked him to 6 of these false accounts, these fake accounts. He
Really?
referenced first person singular. It's like, that's you, buddy. So now in this response that I'm still working on, I know his accounts, so I'm going to be highlighting that. But these, what they did is they managed to get in with the anti-medicalization of kids crowd because they want unscarred, soft bodies. And once I figured that out and started putting it out there,
I don't understand that. What?
the pedophiles. in the
Oh,
trans.
yes,
Okay, so
yes,
you have a
yes.
whole group of
They don't
these.
want you to have tattoos, any scarring.
Okay,
No.
right?
Chris
And
had the
so
same
what?
instruction for special forces.
Okay, that's it. So what these pedophiles are doing, right? It's the minor attracted. They're all rebranding it. So once I was on Emma's, and so they're going to have to poo-poo recovered memories or repressed
Hmm.
memories.
Hmm.
So it's all
Hmm.
converged at the same time. So all that to say, as I'm putting my thing together, but no, you and I, right here, I'm the right kind of therapist that I didn't
You
believe in any of
are.
this,
I was
and little
thinking
by
about that.
little.
I thought, my God, anybody going to a normal therapist after part 2 or 3 would just think, okay, this person's just making
Yeah,
shit up
no,
now.
that's what they've done. That's what these perps have done. They've created the perfect
It's,
crime.
I keep thinking about, I'm going to read my journals from beginning to end
Good
on
for you.
air.
Good for
And
you.
if people think, okay, this is just too much now, how can any one person have gone through all this much stuff,
Right.
even
This,
in the first 11 years of my life?
right. This is how it happened.
And thinking, yeah, it's real.
Yeah.
And I almost wish all these I mean, I haven't read their books. Maybe they do go through it from start to finish in their books, but I'm like, no, I'm going to put it on YouTube. And I think I might get a strike in a few weeks for one of my, because I told about how mom had 4 COVID shots, and I think that's what killed her. I'm pretty sure that's going to get a strike, but I'm not going to take it out. If I
Good
get
for you.
strikes, so be it. And if I get 3 strikes and they kick me off, screw it. I've got the
Good for you.
other 3 channels.
Good
So.
for you.
So I said, it's the next morning. I must say, I do not want to believe this. It's just so far out there. But then I say to myself, it's the exact same thing that happened when the woman on the video was talking about flesh burning off a human body. And I instantly saw it in my mind. How could I possibly know what that looks like?
Mhm.
Went
Yep.
through my mind. When I was watching Nathan Reynolds' show and he was talking about these altered human beings, John, I was literally on the edge of my chair. And I kept thinking, what's going on here, parts? What's happening? But I didn't hear anything. But I was on the edge of my seat, literally. And I remember noticing it at myself, my goodness, what's going on here? Then it was a
Okay, yeah, Diana. Okay. Sorry, but ready? This shows you the difference then. Okay. Now, first of all, who's going to be watching or talking about any of this? Okay.
right.
This is so beyond the normal cognitive process that okay,
I mean,
my
they
own
certainly show us in the Marvel movies. We got
okay,
all those
but
kind
look
of.
at the Marvels, right? They get freakish. But what's interesting is I've never, like, as you said, you were leaning in, you were on the edge of your
On the
chair.
edge of my seat.
Okay, as much as
I'm
I
looking at it
know,
going, what the hell?
okay, but as much as I know, and I've been learning, but I've worked with the survivors, I, so you're leaning in. So anybody that wants to know more leans in. I was always leaning back and would scroll past these. It's like, what? Okay, there. So your visceral reaction matters because if
Well, and
something
that's
is
why I
so blunt,
recorded it because I thought that was important because it was
that's
4
very
hours.
important
Nathan Reynolds suddenly made it possible talking
because now I
about it.
want to go and I want to
My
listen to the,
parts are engaged, a
yeah.
part, or maybe many, who knows. And then all of a sudden, 4 hours later in bed, I have the
See, and
memory.
that makes sense. That
And I'm
visceral
like,
reaction.
and it's not the power of suggestion, as
No,
Alyssa might
it's
say.
resonating within you.
Exactly. I
Okay,
was like,
but for me, because that wasn't my experience, there's nothing in it to resonate. And so I can take just
right.
an intellectual but that matters, right?
It
Even you and
does.
I are
It
working
does.
together, and even up until now, it's like I've had very little, there's nothing within me that has caused me to be interested in learning more. Well, now I'm very interested. So now I got to learn more about this stuff.
Yeah, I was just so all of a sudden it just hit me. I thought, my God, Diana, look at the way you're sitting. I wasn't even conscious of it in the beginning. I just slowly moved in. I was like this.
See, that
And I
matters,
went, oh my God,
right?
what's
That matters.
happening here?
So,
Yeah.
okay, let me give you a polar opposite example. Polar opposite. I have a client that has been sleeping in her closet,
Oh no.
starts in the bed, but ends up in the closet. Well, it matters,
It
right?
does. It
So,
completely
because
matters.
who does that? So the body keeps the
For
score, and
terrified little part.
right. So there's kind of different, but at the same time, look at the degree of energy she's driven to go into her semi walk-in closet. That's where she's been sleeping on the floor.
Oh, that just breaks my heart.
So
Oh,
anyway, so that kind of very similar, right? When you
mm.
look at somebody who's disconnected from parts of themselves, for them to be able to start to connect with exactly what you just did. Why am I leaning in so,
Well,
right?
and I'm glad that I was aware of it,
Yeah, yeah, that's very
Had
powerful.
that happened 5 years ago, oh, I probably wouldn't have been leaning in at all. I probably were just thinking this guy's a whack job.
Okay, but really,
Well, I wouldn't have been watching it anyway, but
okay, so I would like highlight in that in red or something for yourself, because just as me giving you feedback, I'm telling you that matters, because my posture would be like sitting back, like, yeah, even up until like as we're talking about now, I want to go back because I have reason to. It's like, okay, I need to learn more about this. So if this is not somebody's experience, it's not going to resonate and it's going to seem like science fiction. It's like, yeah, okay. But if
or you've
somebody,
seen too many horror movies. Yeah.
right? So the fact that it really matters, right? You were drawn in, and it's like, wait a second, who's going to be drawn into watching and listening to this if they don't have a reason to do so? So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
there you go. It matters.
Yeah. So I keep saying, if I don't believe that, if that's the case,
Yeah, yeah. See, that's
then
what
it
it comes
calls
down to.
into question every single part that has revealed itself. And that's just unacceptable. It would be invalidating and ignoring all of them by disbelieving this one. It's just a lot to absorb. So as I was going to the store thinking about this, I realized that I was not in the same room where the abortion took place. It was a separate room that had minimal furnishings, but furnishings were stainless steel. And these creatures were jumping up and down on them. And I'm just now getting the vibe that like this was where like the veterinarian's office was for them, you know. But the furnishings and they were jumping up and down and not necessarily climbing walls, but putting their hands on the walls, feeling around. One was busy with me, the others would be exploring the room, 20 by 20. As one of the creatures finished with me, he was led out and the others proceeded. And it was and they had to be led to me. So they were being trained to mate, to procreate with a human. Yeah, I get the vibe that it was about training them how to mate, that there were no females of their kind available. And since they had me there for this abortion, the doctor said, well, what the heck, let's kill two birds with one stone and use her. Now, Nathan Reynolds was talking about these underground bases. I had images in my mind going down the stairs of that place, the Fort Bliss Barracks, and there being a long way to go. He talked about that you could think you were in a basement, but really you were in a deeper area where these creatures were kept. And he was talking about that. As he was talking about, I started seeing the hallway. It's almost like they have such a minimal grade, maybe a 3-4% grade where you might be thinking you're walking on a normal floor, but you're actually keep
Ah.
going deeper and deeper and deeper. It's like an optical illusion, but if the grade is too great, you're going to notice it when you walk. And that's what occurred to me. That must be how they do it.
And so the hallway, so you didn't take an elevator, but you took a hallway.
I was walking. I went
Was
down
this like
the stairs.
walking forever? Because if in a military base, I guess underground, they've got miles and miles that they can.
Well, yeah, and they wouldn't have it directly under the barracks where everyone sleeps, but certainly that's where the doorway, which I remember it was a very secure doorway with keypad and shit to get in there. And oh, and at the bottom of the stairs was another door that led you to a hall. And yeah, I walked for a long ways. There was no doorways, and then after a while,
Was somebody
there's
walking with you, Diana?
doorways. Oh yeah, it was a guard taking me.
Okay, that's what you said with the
The
dog.
guard that came and relieved, he would bring my replacement and he would walk me down to this
Oh,
underground thing. And I think he was like maybe I don't know, like a sergeant, 6 rockers, not 5. Like, because the staff sergeant has 3 stripes up and 2 down. But yeah, I think maybe 6 or 7 stripes. And he would bring my replacement, and it would well, my guard duty was 2 hours, but I'm certain I was down there probably more like 4. So they would have the replacement and then another replacement for him, and then I would come up at the second guy. And so nobody would be the wiser. You know what I'm saying? They
yeah.
would switch it out so that no one saw me go down. One would see me go down, and that was it. And the next one would see me come up. So, they would have no idea how long I was down there, or probably those 2 guards were in on it or whatever, trying to climb the satanic ranks or whatever. Okay. So I think, yeah, this is when I got back home and I started cleaning. I said, it's just fantastic. I got a part in there that absolutely does not want to believe this at all. It wasn't the dog man part. It was another part, like Martha, the believe program, believe what the cult tells you. You're hallucinating. It was a dream, whatever. I said, but I'm convinced that it's real and it happened. And I'm gobsmacked
Oh,
at the
wait,
quantity and level of different types of abuses that I've gone through in my
at
life.
least on my end.
What? Hello?
Okay, there we go. There we go.
Okay.
Everything that goes.
Oh, you're frozen again.
Was a Green Beret.
Oh, really?
Her friend's husband was a Green Beret, and her friend is getting very involved with this client and trying to help survivors.
You mean the wife of the Green Beret is helping? Or
I'm sorry, my client had the good friend who's helping her. So the good friend's husband is a Green Beret.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't doubt if Chris didn't run into some of this stuff and got programming out, not to programming not to reveal it. Because he told me about it.
Okay, there we are.
He,
Okay, we'll hang up.
oh, let me hang it up. He told me about one of his Green Beret, well, I don't know if it's a Green Beret, one of his training things was about being interrogated to not talk. He wasn't supposed to reveal anything, but it was the good guys training him to how to not talk. So I wonder if that was after he saw things that,
Oh,
whatever. But for him, in his mind, he thinks it was just a part of the normal everyday training. And if you get caught behind enemy lines,
yeah, I mean, that's you assume that it is like,
but you never know, because if they've made you go amnesiac, you have no idea what's there. They're just so twisted. Just so twisted. Let me.
and see, they have the advantage. It's exactly right. We just don't, well, you can't, right? You can't believe this stuff is true. We have to, though.
Why not?
Because it ruins your perspective of the world. You can't see the world the same way twice anymore.
No, you can't.
And so you can't go back to, right? You can't be
Yeah.
Pollyanna. Can't be Pollyanna anymore.
Yeah, and as many times as I've heard Nathan Reynolds talk about that stuff, I always thought, wow, that's really interesting. I believe you. And there would be a part of my mind thinking, well, thank God I didn't have to do any of that. And then all of a sudden I got him on the edge of my seat. And here it is. Like, oh my
Yeah,
God.
I'm glad I started to listen. I probably listened to a total of 30 minutes of him, which is not, and some of his current stuff. So eventually I'm gonna start listening to more.
Yeah, he's really good. Give me 1 second. I need to create a folder.
Yeah, no,
Because
listen.
that other meeting is converting right now. So what is it,
Yeah, that's fine.
8:20?
That's fine. Isn't this whole thing just so, but isn't it interesting that you and I are working together? That,
It's
well,
just I just get gobsmacked by the whole thing. I'm like, are you kidding me? So yeah, I said I've got a part there that doesn't want to believe it. I'm convinced that it's real and it's happened. I'm gobsmacked at the quantity and level of the different types of abuses I've gone through. Just gobsmacked. How could any one person experience so much stuff? It's incredible. I could totally understand how someone could not believe it too, because I don't want to believe it. And yet it is there spontaneously in my mind. It's not the power of suggestion. It's not created. It's not something I saw from the movie because it organically came like all the others did. There was nothing, it was just the
yeah.
same way. I don't watch movies like that. Anyway, so I said these are genetically modified things the military is playing around with underground. I'm convinced now.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Alan talked about the Black Sea thousands of years ago. I already told you about that. So if they could do it thousands of years ago, they could certainly do it now with ease. And there's no shortage of psychopaths that want to play around with that stuff too.
Yeah.
And I'm becoming more and more convinced that people who say they've had alien abductions and were experimented on, I'm sure they were in these underground bases with these created beings or humans in outfits screwing around with them. And they
Yeah.
were mind F to believe it was aliens.
Yeah.
Because that was that one memory I had. Do you remember I told you first I saw an alien in my mind, like the kind you see in a movie?
Yeah.
And the next day or morning or whatever, I realized, well, no, in Chris's dream, he saw them as animals. And I thought he's probably was told because they were animals. But for me, I was told they're aliens and we had to kill the aliens, the illegal aliens. And so that analytical overlay put that picture there. And
But
if
tell me,
I
I'm sorry, Diana. So Chris said something about,
remember, I told you he said he had a dream. He took a nap one afternoon. He woke up in a upset. He was triggered. He had had a dream where he was in some field somewhere, and I think there was two or three of him and his buddies on a
yeah,
military
yeah.
mission. They were shooting at these animals,
Okay, that's
and
yeah.
that there was
Oh,
blood in the air
yeah,
because it
yeah,
was spraying all around. And I thought, well, that was probably humans, and you were told that they were animals,
yeah, yeah.
you
Okay.
know. And so I twigged, it's like God had Chris experience that and tell me that so that when I remembered my alien thing,
Yeah,
that I realized, oh, it's the same principle. It's just they're giving you a word, and then your mind will do that analytical overlay so that you can choose the thing that you is more pleasant to believe. It was an animal, it was an alien, when in reality, no, it's real life chimeras. Do you know what I mean? Not for Chris, but for me.
yeah.
So, or like the analytical overlay when that first memory I had about killing the baby. The first, when I remembered it, I knew it was a baby, but my mind inserted a cat because I could accept that. It was easier to confront, oh, I killed a cat brutally. Okay, that's bad enough. And then it was later that I realized, oh, that's not a cat, that's a human baby. So it's like my mind had to take the step, the step, the step to get to the real thing. So that's kind of what I call analytical overlay. It's just something in your brain doesn't want to accept it, so it inserts something else
Yeah.
to make
No,
it
that's fine.
more palatable. I just keep thinking that to call into question anyone calls into questions every single one that I've had since this whole thing began. And if you go there, then that means you're crazy, that you are insane. And that's the brilliance of the programming, to call into question or invalidate or ignore any memory. This one in particular I'm thinking about would invalidate me. I kept thinking, okay, well, what if I don't believe it? All the other parts started getting their backs up.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, no, 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 I can't have that.
Yeah, that's right.
I can't have that. And they were
The
like letting me
implications,
know.
right? The implications.
And it got me thinking about Sybil. And maybe that's what happened
Yeah.
to her. Maybe she just
Well,
got to a memory that was just so inconceivable and she denied it that
that's
it
ex
broke down everything else.
and that's exactly everybody. She put up a wall.
Yeah, and it
That's
invalidates and
exactly that.
destabilizes every single part that
That's
ever
exactly what
became.
happened with Sybil.
Yeah. And the
100%.
cascade of events that would happen, I can't even imagine, except it would lead you to insanity, which I wonder where the
Correct.
Sybil person is. It's,
Correct.
no, unless she went back to being amnesic and tucked it all back down.
And that's in her case, I think that's what happened.
Unbelievably brilliant programming. It
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
I said it's getting past that first barrier, just confronting it, just looking at it,
That's right. That's right.
to be able to confront. If you can't, then that destabilizes all the rest that you have confronted,
That's
all
right.
of them. And if you can get past confronting it, then your body starts, going crazy. And you start getting the physical triggers to shut it down, shut it down, shut it down,
That's
go
right.
into denial again. And this happened, John, what, 3 days, 2 days after you and I figured out the confront, the sabotage, the 3 layers of programming.
That's right.
Then ultimately the insanity, the suicide, all that. And it's if you can't confront what's causing that, then it invalidates that one or
That's
many
right.
parts. Then
That's
all
right.
the rest mutiny or rebel or go back into the hiding. They think that you've betrayed them at the
Yep.
deepest level. That's like
That's
an
right.
even worse betrayal than the perps.
Good for you. That's exactly right. And so you can see then psychologically, so to speak, just how we're wired, that the worst memories are going to be the deepest. And if I can't handle what's coming up, I'll shut everything down, right? And
Okay, so I can see how the ego gets involved with this. On the one hand, you have the thought that there's no way, not me, who am I? That was, I was going through my head. I'm not one of those crazy nut job UFO alien abductee people. Or you go the other direction and you embrace it to get publicity. I was abducted and aliens exist and you get airplay and whatever. And you go down that rabbit hole of thinking that aliens are real.
yeah, yeah,
And I'm like, well, no, that's another trap. That's
yeah,
that saboteur part involving your ego because you either can't confront it or you embrace the fantasy. So when really it's just a simple memory of a completely plausible experience that the government and the military put you through. And the only reason they pick you is because you had training from when you were a child. So if you let the ego get wrapped up and involved, you swing one way or the other. It's detaching from that ego. It's either denial and have all the parts shut back down and go insane or whatever. You go the other direction, embrace it, the false reality, and your parts mutiny and get all stirred up in that direction, but they're
yeah.
still denied the truth and you're still stuck.
That's right. That's right.
So it's really quite brilliant. And then when all that's really happening is you're having, and when all that's really happening is you're having a memory that's real, it's not embellished, it's not
Yeah.
suggested, it's not made up or seen in a movie, it's just is what it is. And the acceptance of it is what is the ultimate factor.
Highlight this. This is such a key paragraph that you've written here.
Oh,
This
the
is
paragraph. Okay.
right. This is you nailed it right here. This is almost the culmination of
Well, I
what it's.
kept seeing your parts map, how you explained on Emma's show, and you showed how, like, if the little wounded child that wants to get help manages somehow to pop their head up, how it causes an earthquake through the other levels
Yeah,
and
yeah.
shakes them up. And I thought, well, that's got to be the same in the reverse direction, because if it pops its head up and you invalidate it and shove it down, it's like an earthquake in the reverse direction.
And then it's like pouring cement into the hole that they're never coming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's even harder to get there.
And so
Get
you can see then, Danny, I just thought again how brilliantly evil these people are, and if you, as you've talked about, and this is a common theme that I'm seeing. So I really do believe that the perps and their networks, they found the perfect way to. It's all about invalidating and shutting things down and messing things up. So think about
so
what's
they can
happening to
get away with
charismatic,
what they're doing.
right? And the deliverance ministries and all that.
Mhm,
So
mhm,
it's then going to be, the premise is somebody can be quote unquote demonized, that these are not parts, these are little demons. And so you cast them into the abyss. Well, into the abyss. So it's the same thing. You're sending the message to parts that this
mhm,
is not real, or they're unwanted and we're not listening to you.
mhm, mhm.
And so whether just thinking in terms of this gain of function scientific thing, nope, can't happen. So we shut it down that way.
Right,
Or
right.
we reframe what's happening in terms of demonic stuff. And so as we talked about, who's that guy that had the not Oxford, but
Eric Prince.
there, right? As he's talking
Well,
about,
and
you
this
know,
makes me think of something that Alan used to talk about. He said they have so many think tanks at such high levels. He said they don't move one chess piece without thinking of every single possible repercussion.
yeah,
He said once they figure out the repercussions, then they figure out how to control each of those
no,
repercussions,
that's right. So they've
right?
got all these false teachings out there. They've got all the, and they just use them
And
in.
when that whole thing came up in the 80s with the satanic panic and then the false memory syndrome foundation, so that's kind of like embedded into the society and people keep
That's right.
bringing
That's
it
right.
to life. So you've got
That's right.
that avenue, you've got the deliverance thing, you've got the
That's right.
alien abduction thing, and all of it
Yeah,
is to cover their satanic tracks
that's right. And I
because
think,
Satan doesn't exist. He
and when I,
has to be a secret.
well, that's right. And when I started to create that chart about here's how you make a sexual psychopath, that's really probably what got me on the map with these perp apologists,
Oh,
because
yeah, I
saying,
have no doubt.
yeah, yeah, okay.
I'm just so disappointed that you're not on with Emma right now. You're not on with
Yeah.
Melissa, and all of it
Oh,
has been such
it's
a
almost
kabod.
there. Yeah, I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
getting back. I'm looking
Oh,
forward to getting
good.
so
Okay. So let me kind of power through these.
yeah.
So the part of my mind, so mom, Angie, and Mary that are programmed to tell me to believe you're not seeing what you're seeing is really screaming loud and clear today. And I'm telling these people that, yeah, it's real. It can happen. And whatever program they've got going on will do nothing except lead us down the path of insanity or psychopathy because we're embracing our ego. And I choose neither one. I choose sanity and what my part is showing me, no matter how unbelievable or crazy out there it may be. And I used to relate Martha, Lexi, Molly, Angie, Mary, because in real life, Mom, Angie, and Mary are still in the notion that they don't remember anything and that they had normal lives. I used to completely mix them up with my parts, but I'm realizing that no, the parts are completely separate. Yes, they are modeled on Mom, Angie, and Mary, but they are cult members who still want you to think it's all nonsense, all while they know that it's real and true. It's the greatest deception of all, the closest to you gaslighting you're
Yeah.
gaslighting yourself into
Yeah.
thinking that you're crazy when in reality it is they who are the deceivers and the liars and ones who make you think you're crazy and believing in them in that voice you And because you are bonded to them and trauma bonded to them, you think that you are crazy and you question yourself. And so it's a constant battle in your head between trusting yourself or not. And the irony is that those parts are part of you and you are them. If you deny one, you deny all the others. So in a sense, you're trusting yourself, the denial parts, but you're trusting a lie within yourself. And by believing yourself, you're denying those parts of yourself telling the truth. It's just brilliant. So, and I did this, I said it would come down to creating a pros and cons list of believing the lie or not believing the lie and
Good.
defining what the lie is.
That's right. That's right. That's
Um,
so powerful. Highlight that one, Tony, because that's really going to be then like using the football field analogy.
and
When you
I
get
did
down to
this.
about midfield, right? This is
I'll
somebody's
show
going to
you.
encounter that, or in the third quarter. So that's going to have to be.
I'll show, let me show you Lake City real quick.
Oh yeah, please do.
I
Oh
put in living rooms, bedrooms, and bathrooms. I wasn't going
wow,
bedrooms and
I
bathrooms,
I want to move in.
but a community bulletin board.
Beautiful.
And this is where I put pros of the cult and then cons of the cult, 2 pages.
Wow.
Pros, the dad is good. And then cons, the dad is not good.
Good, 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 good,
And then
good.
it was just as simple as this. The lie is that whatever they told you is the truth. The lie is that whatever they told you is the truth. They use terror, death, torture, coercion, suggestion, any and all resources to convince you. I thought I was going to have a whole big list of this and that. And I realized, no, anything that a perp tells you is a lie.
There, spot on. You've nailed it, Diana, right? It's all of a sudden realizing who was running their mouth.
Yeah, this works better.
It's the source, right? Out of the horse's mouth, meaning, wait a second, let me go to the heart of the, and that's also when I'm doing this response, that I'm trying to help the audience understand these are pedophiles. Everybody behind this, so everybody, I mean, who went after you? I mean, literally all this stuff. Once we can get the audience, once you can get the survivors to understand these are pedophiles.
Anything they told you,
There,
it's a
there,
lie. Even
there
if
you
there's
go.
a grain of truth in it,
There
the
you go.
context was a
Right,
lie.
and that's why
And then
they're
this came the
of
next
their
bit.
father. There you go.
The
There you go.
truth is that you can trust yourself.
There
Your
you go.
intuition is God's
And
guide.
that's why, right, the scripture says that he was the father of
So
lies.
this
He was a
remains
liar from the
posted
beginning.
on my community bulletin board, and
Okay,
they're
that's
like
beautiful, Diane.
4 foot by 4 foot things, a wall.
There you go.
Yeah,
Right? That he was
so
a liar from the devil was a liar from the beginning.
the
So
very
therefore,
beginning.
anything he said, spot on, right? And that's why it'll still come back to the power of, well, this was my dad or this was my mom, right? And so
How could that be? They loved me.
there, right? So ultimately,
No, they loved torturing you. They
there.
loved fucking with you. They loved,
Okay,
yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
Right.
That's what they loved.
Once that house of cards comes down, everything, but then you're left with the horror of, wait a second, I mean, it's almost a done deal. Once that foundational, it's like the Jenga thing. Once you pull that last little block, everything starts to come down, but then it is the horror of it. So exactly like a chimera, what? So it's kind of like that's the last remaining little Jenga as well. So you pull those two blocks out that surely every parent cares about their child. So that's that key block. And in a way that goes back to then who's that Svali? Okay, attachment and fear. So attachment is that foundational piece. Surely my mom and dad or my dad cared. So you pull that one out, then the fear of both the horror of it and then still nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Can they harm me? There's the fear. You pull those two linchpins out, and this entire Jenga construction comes tumbling down. And so that's why they will have those parts, as you just nailed it, right? They're going to
Instilled
make me
in
go
it.
crazy. They're going to make me, yep.
And it's like God is he's revealing my parts in the perfect order.
That's right. That's right.
In the perfect order. Because if I had had Dogman come up before those two firewalls of
There's no
three
way.
people, God knows what would have happened.
Yeah.
But it's like God's like, no, I'm doing this very strategically,
Right.
Diana. And I'm like, okay. And I said, since I am both sides of the argument, where do I go and what do I do? I can't believe myself or want to believe myself on both sides. So you go to those who are around you. You bounce
Yeah.
and Alan used to talk about this. You bounce your ideas off those who are around you,
That's
someone
right.
close to you, a coworker, a stranger. You might even ask them, what do you think about X, Y, and Z? And it's their opinion that causes us to choose a side, to pick apart, pick one side or the other because well, 8 people have told me this and only one said that. So I'm going to go with the majority kind of thinking. Or maybe there's only one side of the equation out there in society and no one around you can see the other side. So that's fascinating. Society's beliefs are what's going to cause you to go along. So
Yeah.
you go along with the script. I
That's right.
said, but ultimately, the only way out of the trap is to listen to that small, quiet voice inside you from God that's telling you the truth. And it's unfortunately that society is so much louder than that still, small, quiet voice. And that's when intuition comes in because that will be your way to test what feels true or what feels false. It's the feel of it. That's how I've always gauged it. If it's true, I'll feel it. Do I feel uncomfortable or nervous? Do I feel calm?
There.
And
Okay.
that's the one I pick is the calm one.
That's right.
So without God and without one's intuition, people are just lost. Again, a brilliant plan by those psychopaths who run the planet. Create an environment that's psychopathic so that when people start to come out of the delusion, they test their ideas off those people in that soup and they get sucked right back in. And if they don't, and they go outside their circles and find people who have the truth, they're mocked and scorned or whatever. And if you can't handle that, then you swing back to the lie again.
So I was just thinking, think about what's going on in
And
this current environment, right? So we have the
and
greatest,
COVID's the perfect
okay,
example.
there, right? But we have the greatest naysayers of any recovered memory. So we have the false memory perps, who are the same ones that are aligned with pushing the
With the
idea.
actual perps,
Okay,
Weinstein and
that's
all
it.
those.
So the ones that are saying this can't be true are the ones that are saying people can be born in the wrong body, and therefore these men right in front of your face that are twerking in front of kids, that are undressing in front of kids, that are going into women's locker rooms, they aren't doing what's clear that they're doing. So you've got the perps that are downplaying the impact and repressed memories are the same ones that right in front of the camera are saying it's not what it looks like.
Well, and I'm sure that your video aligns that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I hope, yeah. Anyway, so I said all of those parts being embedded in one human being and also embedded within society itself. So, um, okay. And then these next two entries are pretty small, but this next morning, well, this was at night. I just saw 2 girls looking at each other and they shouted. Right after that, then I saw 2 people in masks and capes turn their heads to look at them. One of them had a
Oh,
gun. It was reddish. I don't know what part that is. And
is
then
that
I
the same?
started,
Is that the same kind of beak thing that?
yeah, yeah. Except it was reddish instead of black. Most of them are black ones that I see. I started seeing different types of lights and lighting. I kept thinking, what am I looking at? They were just and then right after I saw a teenage girl with long, pretty curly hair turn to look at me or the camera. So I wonder if I wasn't filming. And she had a towel on and she was tucking it in her, she's tucking it under her armpit, put it in place. I'm getting the vibe this had to do with pornography and cameras. This was the main actress of one of the stage shows. She was, there's a pause in the memory. She was getting to go ready to go out on stage. She was all dressed up and pretty, and we were watching her get ready. When she was all done, then she put her costume on and went out on stage. This had to do with the French Revolution plays, and I think she might have been playing Joan of Arc, but Joan of Arc and the French Revolution are hundreds of years apart, so I don't know. but she was definitely playing Joan of Arc. So I think it was just a French play, and one of the plays was about the French Revolution, and one was about Joan of Arc. So there's a man with white shorts on and a blue and white striped shirt. It's almost like he was at the wearing beach clothes. He's holding lighting up for the stage and the camera testing it to see if it's just right. Finn had to kill that pretty girl on stage. He had to slice her throat. He thought to himself, well, she's not pretty anymore. Which, I wonder if she wasn't going on and on about how beautiful she was, because two parts comment on this. She was taken off stage. Later, Patty had to smash up her body for the serving table. She really wasn't pretty after that. So I think this girl just thought her shit didn't stink. Anyway, that she was the most beautiful thing on the planet. And we're thinking, well, we're going to slice your throat and smash you up anyway. So whatever. So now here was the big thing. An hour or two before I got up, I was having some gas pains. By the time I got up, it was pretty bad. Lasted for a couple of hours now. I was going to do a video, but I think I'll put that to the side. I was also going to exercise today, but that seems out of the question too. Plus, last night when I was pulling the trash bag out of the can lifted up and dropped onto my toe. It's stainless steel, and the edge of it cut my actual toe to the point where it's bleeding. I had to put a bandage on it. So now my toe hurts as well. I feel like this toe pain is connected with my abdominal cramps, but I haven't found that yet. So I just smashed my toe. It's like the saboteur was doing something. And I was thinking about everything that transpired last night and realized that, yeah, my dad was in a Masonic lodge. I believe it was at his work site, but I don't recall anything Masonic at home. Now I'm missing something here. I had a memory of Gabby, the girl that had the abortion in El Paso. Well, that had the abortion done on her.
Yeah.
What they did was they tied me to the table. The guy poured something in my mouth that was extremely toxic and poisonous. It dissolved the baby. And then it like flowed out of me, poured out of me. And then he picked it up, put it in the bag, and said, get rid of this Gumby shit, which is where her name Gumby came from.
It was like the RU486 thing.
That's what I thought, kind of like the morning after pill, but I don't know. But I was having that terrible, terrible abdominal
Yeah.
issues. And I kept hearing you in my ear, go hit Ted, go hit Ted.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
put it off. Half hour goes, go hit Ted. So I said, all right, I got up, whacked on Ted for, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes. And I filmed it. I said, Geraldine and Gabby, are you okay with me doing this? And they're like, yeah, the world needs to know. And so I filmed it. I guess I should show you that. But I put an entry with all of that in there. Anyway, this was just last night, I saw a muscle man walk into a room sideways. He was dressed like a Chippendale male stripper. He was smiling and showing off his body. He worked at the gay club, the Kit Kat Club. He would go there to dance for men. And this was the part Eviana that I discovered like a week ago, the little girls in the clubs. So I've got to find that entry. I guess that I'm going to leave that alone till we're done. I don't want to mess anything up. Was I going to show you? Oh, the TED Talk. Okay, where are we? D. And after I got done with the TED Talk, literally 15 minutes later, John, I was fine. My
Oh, is
mental
that right?
my
Okay, there we
mental
go.
outlook
There
was
we go.
positive. My body felt fine. It's maybe like 5 or 10% discomfort, but that was it. I was blown away because remember I told you it usually takes like 2 to 6 hours, 15 minutes handle.
Okay, you're going to want to mention that because again,
I did.
the last thing somebody in pain wants to do is go out and vent. Oh, okay, so you already, it's
I
phenomenal.
know.
The
And
work you're
Chris,
doing is phenomenal, Diana.
and it's funny
Unbelievable.
because this weekend Chris was having some abdominal pains, and I said, "Go beat on Ted."
Wow.
I can't. I heard too much. I said, just whack them. I said, you're going to be in pain anyway. You want to be laying in pain or standing up in
It
pain?
is something you're having to
What's
teach
the difference?
a special forces guy to go
Well,
finally
because
get in touch with
he's
his
taught
emotions.
to take the pain.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
not taught to vent it. They're taught to keep it inside.
Isn't that something?
And I keep sharing with Chris, my knee. I said, working on TED fixed my knee. Working on TED fixed my abdominal issues. And it was terrible, John. I was doubling over. It was horrible. And you'll see my demeanor when I first start this.
Wow, okay. You're doing phenomenal work. The Lord's going to be using this in a very powerful way, Diana, because think about how many survivors of this
I
crap.
know. And in that, well, yeah, I thought, oh, I'll lay around and be a bum. And I thought, no, that's sick. That just wants to be sick.
Not very chipper this morning, but having terrible, terrible gastrointestinal issues.
Can you hear it?
Could you go out? There's a couple, I can barely hear it. So there's some little buttons I found out on the right as you share.
Oh,
You share the screen.
so I got to stop share and
Yeah,
then,
stop share. Yeah, as you go in, they'll be over on the
oh,
right
layouts and
menu.
options.
Yeah, there's two little check boxes
Oh,
about
share
volume.
sound.
Okay,
Okay.
there you go. There you go. So I
Okay,
didn't know that either.
share. All right.
Finally,
You hear it? Well, here, I'll
was
go back.
shown, my parts showed me.
Okay, now I can hear. I'll
Trying
turn it
to
up.
figure out what it is. Chipper this morning. I've been having terrible, terrible
Okay, I got it.
gastrointestinal issues. I've been trying to figure out what it is. I finally was shown, my parts showed me. When I was in the military, I had an SRA rape. Well, it was 3 or 4 months later, and my parts were in such denial, I didn't even know I was pregnant. Well, the military gave me a spontaneous medical inspection, found out, and took me down into their basement underground area. There was some other stuff that occurred that I'll talk about in my journal, but they aborted that baby, had me strapped to a table and had me drink something, and that's what was causing the gastrointestinal problems, but it was killing the baby. I don't even know how that worked, if it leaked out of my intestines into my... Anyway, the baby just poured out of me. And it was obvious he was making me upset. This was just 10 minutes ago, and I kept hearing my counselor in my ear. When you're sad, that's rage. So I thought, well, I better come out here and beat on Ted. And my
Good for
partner
you for capturing this, Diana. Good for you.
beat on that doctor.
Yeah, I checked with them first if they wanted to be private or for film it, and they said no.
I mean, that one client of mine watched this and she's going to purchase one now because
Oh, good.
of the video that you've done.
I was crying pretty hard.
Fuckers, motherfuckers. You made me get pregnant. And then you fucking torture me. You fuckers.
Good. Good for you. Good.
Fuck you!
Good.
thought since I felt so terrible, I was gonna lay around and watch TV today, but I kept hearing my counselor, the part inside. No, go beat on Ted, beat on Ted, beat on Ted. It wasn't until I started crying that I thought I'd better get my butt out here and move it through.
Good.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Shit, am I right?
Fuck you.
Well, you can see the transformation even from when you started. All of a sudden, the energy level is now coming up.
Yeah.
Now, you could barely move, right, when you first picked up the bat.
Yeah. I'm worried I'm not recording. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, you want to start recording?
Yeah, let me pause this and just make sure. I think I am. Where? Oh, shoot. Did I lose you?
No, I'm still
Oh,
here.
I'm recording. Okay, good.
Okay.
Sorry, just was freaking out.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. But in that, even just in the brief amount of time, look at how you got energy now as you're hitting it.
Yeah.
All that physical pain now is coming out.
Yeah, it was. As long as I was crying, I knew I had to keep going.
Good for you. Make sure you note that for the audio, right? Good.
I win. We
Yep.
win. You're going down.
Good. Oh, I like those. Those are some of my favorite hits right there. Good for you.
I was like, yeah, let's just smack his head off.
That's it.
Fucking attention. Fuckers, motherfuckers.
Good.
I
I think I was having gas move through me right there.
Right, it makes sense. It's finally all coming to the surface.
must say, my tears are subsiding. I'm feeling the rage.
There we go. Good.
I would say if you talk to other clients and show them this, make sure they get the one that goes down to the thighs,
Break your
because
fucking
it's
neck.
really pleasant to smash their dicks.
Good. Oh yeah, no, that's right. To be able to have something that, well, I think that's why it's so invaluable for them to be able to see what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, sorry, I gotta. There we
No,
go.
you're doing fine.
Yikes. There it goes. Okay. Yeah, my neck is hurting.
Man, you really connected with the mind-body part. So where those pains are coming up, you're going after it.
Stop hurting me!
That's beautiful.
I mean, this is when I was 19, almost 20. And I thought I was out and away from all of it. I thought it was free.
Yeah.
You fucking
Yeah, this is good for you. Good for you, Diana.
Never again! Never!
It's funny, I realized as I watched this again, just like
That's what
my
despair is, I think. those parts thinking it will never, ever, ever end.
So that's what you're doing. You're shoving the truth down in that it's over.
No!
They didn't win.
Fuck
All the
you!
injustice.
Yeah, I could watch 3 or 4 times before
It's gonna
they
end!
air.
I will
And it's like I'm
be
doing it each
free!
time.
That's
You know,
right.
the parts get to, it's a vicarious thing, like you said.
100%. That's what's so invaluable
No
about
more
this. It
power
just,
over me.
it's
None.
resonating deeper and deeper and deeper. Good. Good.
You
Good,
know,
good,
I
good.
was debating filming this or not. I was asking my parts because sometimes they want privacy. They said, no, get the camera, do it. The world needs to see what this does to us.
Yeah.
Oh, my neck doesn't hurt anymore.
Wow.
It actually didn't hurt until I started whacking on him. Then it started hurting, but that's pretty much gone. I hope my intestinal issues will be resolved, and if they're not, I'll come back out here again. But my parts wanted you all to see this, so thanks for watching. Thanks for
Wow. Well done.
coming along on my journey. It's not pretty, and yeah, you're real vulnerable, but and as much as your stomach might hurt, or your head, or your neck, and you're thinking, I'm just gonna lay around and be a bum, which is what goes through my head. I'm gonna lay around and be a bum. My counselor says, no, go beat on Ted. It'll move things through and out. So I'm a firm believer. And right now I do feel better. I don't feel like crying for the next hour or two, and my GI tract feels a little bit better. I'm not having pain. I think there's a little discomfort there, but it's not doubling me over or making me run to the toilet. So anyhow, exciting stuff. I know it's graphic and vivid and all that, but we got to do this for ourselves. I have to do it for my mental health, so, and my physical health. Because those little guys in there, they hold on to that. They feel it. They hold on to it because they never got to let it go. They were just shoved down, became amnesic, and daytime personality came out, and everything was just fine when it wasn't. So anyway, I love you all. God bless you and give you strength and courage on your journey.
Outstanding. Outstanding.
And then I'll just show you the first few minutes of the journal.
Yeah.
That'll go with it on that week. Because I talk about what happened after TED. Which I'm realizing the journal will go first, then the TED will. It needs to be the reverse.
Oh, okay. Maybe even write that in part A, part B, or
Hello, everyone. I
or
had
pre
a
and post.
rough morning. I was having gastrointestinal issues just from out of nowhere, quite painful. It was making me run to the bathroom. But anyway, I thought I was gonna sit around and be a bum all day and feel sorry for myself, I guess, or whatever. I was trying to figure out what part it was, where it was coming from, what was happening. And finally my part showed me, and I realized the scenario that I was in. Anyway, I started to cry, started to get really sad and go into despair. And as I was crying, I could hear my counselor, my voice saying, rage is what is underneath the sadness. So you got to go beat on Ted. So I made myself do that. I was very uncomfortable.
I'm renting space in your head.
On my abdomen. And anyway, so went out and did it and filmed it, and you'll see that. But remarkably, I was kind of blown away because it usually takes, maybe 2 or 4 or 6 hours before whatever physical ailment I have just kind of goes away. It was about 10 or 15 minutes later, I felt better. My outlook was, hey, oh my goodness, I need to post my videos today. I wanted to record a video today, which I thought surely there's no way, and I put it off. But once I was done with Ted and I felt better, all of my, things I wanted to get done today came back, and I felt good. And so here I am. I just spent the past hour and a half posting videos to the sites and renaming some files while I was waiting for that stuff to down or upload, and just feel better. I'm kind of blown away. I had a little light breakfast, some hard-boiled eggs and some cold bacon, and raring to go. So this is great. Highly recommend the TED Talk. It wasn't just about making me feel physically better, but my mindset changed. I feel cheerful again. And it's not switching from, the despair part into the daytime part and going amnesiac. It's just feeling better. So it's pretty awesome. So but here I am, thought I would do my journal entry. So this is dated March 1st of 24.
Yeah, so that's it. So yeah, you can see the change in demeanor for sure. I was like, holy cow. Are you there?
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm just trying to take it all in. Diana, you're doing such important work, such good work and important work.
Yeah, I'm realizing I should probably put TED up on Monday and then the journal on Wednesday because I did in the reverse.
TED Talk Monday.
Right.
It's time for another TED Talk.
Well, it is. Yeah, it's one of my weeklies. So
yeah, so maybe that's an interesting way to do it.
And it's short and sweet. It's under 15 minutes, and people watch it and laugh or giggle or whatever. Because I watch them and I giggle. It's like little parts in there, like, oh my God, So, but it's other parts are going, I want to do that. I want to do
Wonderful. Good.
Yeah. And Shiloh is a part of me that's, her name used to be sick. She's like, I don't have to sit around and feel it anymore, do I? And I'm like, no, go beat the snot out of Ted.
Good.
So now she's poking me. I don't want to lay around all day. Go poke Ted. It sucks to feel bad.
Wow. No, it's beautiful. And, the times you tap into that guttural, when you're just screaming in his face, that is the healing at the deepest levels.
Mm-hmm.
And what's so amazing about imprecatory prayers is that, because the moment you tap into that, right, and as you're watching, as you film it, in that moment, it feels like it's I call it emotional dry heaves. You're not sure, right? It feels like it's going to go on forever. That's part of that fear. And technically, if the Lord didn't have that governor on it, at that moment, somebody go crazy. But it's that moment of intensity, right? When you're whacking them, and that doesn't even suffice, and you just scream, right? That is
in no words. It's just that.
Okay, that's it. Okay, so it is that. If you can encapsulate that in that moment, that is such pure righteous indignation, and that is what the Lord encapsulates. And I envision it this way: he encapsulates that, and that becomes the warhead that he screws into the smart weapon that he delivers as he launches his aircraft
Yeah.
from the aircraft carrier, right? In the
Mhm.
imprecatory prayer, he's taking that encapsulated rage on your behalf, and that's going to be the suppository he's putting up the rear end right through the window in his smart bomb that he releases from his jet for all the perps that hurt you.
Yeah.
That's the honor of an imprecatory prayer. So that's when, so you can tell the way somebody, the voice inflection, the dramatic reading of vengeance is mine, says the Lord, right? So it depends upon the pathos, and there's 80 different ways a voice inflection could make that seem from God's heart. And all I've ever heard is, yep, nope, we can't go there. It's his. No, what he's saying is, he is so enraged on our behalf. Isaiah 59,
On our behalf, meaning
right?
it's ours.
So he treats it as in Psalm 56:8. He captures all that in a bottle, and also the word is a secret pouch, kind of like if you took your wedding ring off and put it somewhere for safekeeping. And so it's a jewel to him, and he invites the survivor. As the survivor risks believing that God has a heart for them, that their pain matters, it's in that sense that he says, vengeance is mine. He says, will you give it to me and entrust me with that? I get touched. And that's
Yeah,
what,
because it's not like I'm going to go out there and shoot my perps in the head. I have to leave it.
well, that's
at the
fine too. I'd be
field,
going,
but it's just,
no,
but it's
but
just
that meaning
getting it out
that's,
of my body. I
yeah,
don't have to be trapped
and
with
that's
it.
the last, that's the sense of the last words of Moses. God says through Moses in the last words of Moses in Deuteronomy 32 that God is an avenging God. And when David in the largest book in the entire Bible is Psalm 119, or the book of Psalms, largest book, the largest chapter and the largest book in the whole Psalm 119. It's right in the middle of it. So the largest chapter in the entire Bible is within the largest book in the entire Bible. So the largest chapter is Psalm 119. And when David references, Lord, your promises are what kept me stable. So we have a plural, but then about 8 or 9 times it's singular. So there's a promise above all promises that will keep somebody's feet from slipping. And so either it's just a grammatical interchange. You watch people, pastors that are very careful, and they'll tell you, listen, you got to be, you take it at face value. It is what it says. And God knew vocabulary. And so when it's singular, except when it comes to imprecatory prayers. Then all of a sudden the same pastors go, well, but we got to interpret this properly. It's like, what happened to the normal rules of interpretation everywhere else in scripture? But when it finally comes to imprecatory prayers, half the book of Psalms, we can't take that same normal procedure because people are uncomfortable with God's intensity towards meting out justice.
What they're really uncomfortable with is their own.
They're spot
rate.
on, right? They don't want to believe jets are heading towards them. And that's why Matthew 5, it says to those people, when you're at the altar presenting your gift and you suddenly remember you've been a jerk to somebody, you better go make it right because there's a plane ready to launch with your name on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's why David, in so many different places, there are like 17 places, he says, Lord, I will, it's like fill in the blank. I'll speak of this. I'll sing of this. I'll proclaim it in the midst of the assembly when I'm talking to other people. And the question is, what is it that is so magnanimous to him? So fill in the blank. I will speak of I will tell in the midst of, I'll talk about this. So it's fill in the blank. Everyone will say, well, it's his love. It's kind. No, it's his justice.
His rate.
He sings of God's justice. It's always justice. Why? Because he cares deeply about people's pain. That's what Job wanted to know. Lord, do you see? Do you care? Do you hear? And once it sunk in that, oh, God was not passive. I don't know why. And this is what every survivor and what you went through. We don't know why God didn't act. But the real question is this. was he feeling it or was he indifferent? And was he enraged? Because once I know he's enraged, and that's Isaiah 59 and chapter 59, 63. God first says, I was looking for is there just one that will on my behalf? I get touched.
Yeah.
Go forth and help the survivors. And when there was no one, he says, I did it myself. And in chapter 63, they're amazed, like, who's this person coming from Basra?
Yeah.
This the guy. He says, I was smashing heads and, he's splattered with blood.
On that, I know we're at noon.
Just
a quick Bible question.
Yes.
Still in Leviticus. Why does he go on so much about skin diseases? Was that just a common thing back then? I mean, he doesn't talk about heart disease.
No, I think it's an exception. It was leprosy.
Oh, I thought maybe that was
right.
the
So
case. You don't
my
want to
hunch is
contaminate the rest of the people.
what do they call it now? Atkins? I forget the term.
I don't know.
But it was probably communicable.
Contagious, yeah, I get that.
So that's why they had the leper colonies.
I'm reading it thinking, oh my God, I got a skin disease.
No, it's Hansen's disease.
Yeah, okay.
But what was so amazing is there was no cure, and that's why.
Well, yeah, you keep them clean and wash them.
Okay. And so when Jesus heals the lepers, Jesus was going to war against the scribes and Pharisees. So he would tell these lepers that got cleansed, don't tell anybody, go show it to the scribes and Pharisees. Well, they hadn't seen a case of healed leprosy ever in the history of Israel.
Oh, wow.
Right? So, and so the different lepers that would do it, they would start spreading the news and made it more difficult for Jesus to keep the crowd size down. But
right.
So the best way to read it is it was Jesus versus the religious leaders.
Okay.
He says, go take the offering that matches here in the scripture. Okay. When's the last time they saw that offering? Because they had to memorize. So if you're a religious leader, scribe and Pharisees and the Sadducees in the temple. So they had to memorize, so they knew if somebody was handing a certain offering, they would automatically equate, well, this matches this. Well, when did they ever see an offering for leprosy? They'd never seen that in thousands of years. And all of a sudden, here comes because the person's clean by that time, and they're bringing the one, it's like the nuclear football. It's like the nuclear codes.
Yeah.
That's what it would do for Chris. So like somebody hands him the secret password and he says, like, stop the show. Like, what? Because the person doesn't have leprosy. They couldn't be around. So here's this person that's cleansed, bringing an offering. So it was Jesus going to war against the scribes and Pharisees, and nobody else was supposed to know. It was a very personal. He was always sending the F-16s out to where they
okay, all right. Okay, another question.
Yeah.
Why it's this purification after childbirth? So if a woman gives birth to a son, she's unclean for 7 days, but if she gives birth to a girl, it's unclean why is it unclean at all? Number one. Number two, why would a girl be twice as long?
Yeah, I think it was just to emphasize that within the human spiritual DNA, that we are sinners from birth. So it wasn't a qualitative statement.
Oh, so because Eve took the deception.
Yeah. But again, it can't be. So that's where I default back to God's heart. Because again, God was instructing his people to be absolutely different and therefore no human sacrifice.
Yeah.
He cares
really clear about
intensely about how babies are treated. So there are some of those things that it's like, I don't understand everything. And that's why those few things that have come across, it's like, okay, I have to go back to God's heart. He cares deeply about the kids. In his eyes, there's neither male or female. So I think it's and therefore it's not the males are more important because in the one China,
I mean, that's what the feminist in me, saying, well, why are girls not?
Right.
I'm like, well,
look at who the first person was that Jesus appeared to.
Yeah, it was Mary, right?
There you go.
Mary.
And so that's why, I may not have, like, there are a couple of those things that it's like, you know what, I don't know, but here's what I
It
know I
had
can't be.
yeah, it was in the context of something.
Right.
And why is a woman having her menstrual period? Why is she unclean? Is it because it's flushing out
So, okay, I think there
the
may be
eggs
health
that are
related
no
issues,
longer viable or something?
right? I think there
Right
may be health.
before it, he's talking about
Right.
bodily discharges.
No, no, and
And
good
so I'm
question,
like,
right? I
because he
also
made
think,
it that way. Why
right?
is it unclean?
And I also think it has to do with God was forcing God to use self-control.
Oh, so leave a woman alone on her period. I kind of got that vibe too.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, because we can get bitchy.
Well, no, but you know what? Be sensitive to the woman as well.
Well, yeah, because you're uncomfortable and a guy
There.
wants to have
So
sex. You're
I
like,
kind of like that interpretation of it because God
okay,
was,
I do too.
yeah.
Okay, and I love, love, love. I've always heard about this being in the Bible, but I've never read it or saw it. But not having sexual relations with a close relative, anyone who eats or drinks blood in any form, I will turn against you, cut you off. Do not permit any of your children to be offered as a sacrifice to
I mean, there goes
Moloch.
Freemasonry.
Do not
It's
practice
done.
homosexuality.
There you go.
Do not defile yourself by having sex with an animal.
There you
A
go.
woman, don't offer yourself to an animal. I'm like, if I hadn't remembered my SRA, I think I just would have read by that going, yeah, yeah, whatever. But now I'm like, oh, so yeah, you really get that all this crap was going on, what, 4,000 years ago?
There you go. Nothing's changed.
Whenever, so
Nothing's changed.
do not put your trust in idols or make metal image of gods for yourself. Don't, if any of them offer their children as a sacrifice to Moloch, they must be put to death. If you have sex with an animal, you're going to be put to death. I'm like, wow, he's really clear about
There you
this.
go.
You know,
Diana, I hate to,
okay.
I just
Yeah, I know,
realized
you
that
gotta go.
well, and you wouldn't know that. I just realized I'm so engrossed in our session here. Well, let's plan on, I just realized I have another client thing.
Yeah, yeah,
I like all
sorry.
my clients, but I'm so well, let's plan on
Friday,
Friday.
yeah.
There you go.
Okay, good, yeah. So
Okay.
I was just had those quick questions.
All right, wonderful. Okay, we'll talk then.
Okay, have a great one.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.